G'day viewers, welcome back. In my last video I mentioned that I was getting a little tired of the tailstock and the way it behaved, and that I might make that my next project, so here it is. We'll get on with it and do it. First thing I need to do is get rid of the covers and this motor that powers the power feed for the carriage, so that I can get at it and work on it. All these screws are just a little self-drilling, self-tapping thing which I use quite extensively in the build for this lathe. These particular ones have a big flat head on them. A lot of the others, like the ones in the covers over the spindle, only have a little tiny head. And then I need to clean things up a bit. That's a bit of a messy. As you can see here, this thing is pretty sloppy. Doesn't fit very well at all. Even when I push it up tight, it's still a rocket. Because when I made it, I was too lazy to lap this into there properly. So that's what we're going to do today. Try and fix this all up. Have a new actuating lever I'm hoping to fit, so that I can just push it up from that side like that and lock it in place. So let's get started. First thing I need to get rid of are the wipers. They're already off over the other side. I took them off a while back when I was looking at something else. But let's get these ones off. This stuff I used for the wipers was self-adhesive one side, and this side was obviously the self-adhesive one. The material I had was actually very thick, and I just cut out one piece and then very carefully cut it in half down the thickness so to make two pieces. And now I need to remove the rail follower. These two bolts are going to catch on the tailstock where it's bolted on, so I'll have to just undo them a bit at a time until I get both the bolts out. Now that I have it off, we can clean it up and see just how bad a job I did of it first time. We'll get the Prussian blue, or bearing blue as my dear old dad used to call it, out, and we'll see what sort of contact it has.
That'd be my challenge to the bowlers. Get it up there, give it a chance to do something off the wicket. Have a link, get it up there. They weren't willing to risk the...
As you can see, it's not a very good fit. It actually rocks on there. It should be pretty rock solid, not rockabye baby, if you know what I mean.
I think they're going to have to. If they're going to get back into this test match, they've got to get it up there and challenge the pegs.
I'm going to ask you each another question before we go to a break, and after the break is going to be James Brayshaw, Brad Haddon and Junior Wall giving...
We need to track down one of those little rubber rollers that are used for spreading this stuff evenly. Spreading it with your fingers not the best idea, but I have nothing else to use, so finger it is. If you have another way of spreading this without a roller, let me know down in the comments. I'll be pleased to see what it is. I used this bit of brass to try and emulate the tailstock sitting on top of it, but I don't know if it was such a good idea to do that.
And I don't reckon the data's worked in the first two tests, but it looks like they've found some common sense now. Anderson in again to Smith.
When I made these parts originally, I didn't have the belt sander, and I was lapping by using a piece of sandpaper, straddling the base angle line, and then rubbing the carrier on the top of that to sand it down. It's very laborious, and I spent hours and hours doing the carriers for the cross slide. So I was a little bored of it by the time I got to these things. But these ones, I got stuck into them on the belt sander, and it cleaned them up real quick. The rail follower on the other side's a completely different kettle of fish. It's two completely separate parts, and it sits on those two roll pins and allows it to float so that it can be moved to lock it in place. But you can see it rocks and carries on just like the other one did. So we'll give it the same treatment on the belt centre and see how it comes up. But first I'll check it with the Prussian blue and see just where I need to take some meat off it.
Wood should have played. They're probably worried about their 8, 9, 10, 11 batting if Wokes doesn't play. So they're in a real quandary. And that's what happens when you've got players that you don't have a lot of confidence.
You're in all sorts. Especially by the second game.
Especially have that mindset when they have to win the series.
Yep. Forward again. Cathedral in. Another shame. Might have gone into a piece of that. Certainly took a bit of
First time around when you only spread it with your finger, it can be a little thick, so it's best to wipe it off and have another go once you've thinned it out a bit. You'll more often not get a completely different result like this.
He was the best bowler. I know Robinson got the wickets, but
It's had a lick on the belt centre. Let's see how we did. The other one went pretty well. Let's see how this one goes.
best ball. You'll find
a few prunes in the box here, haven't we?
Now that's a whole lot better, and it didn't take all that long either. So happy I made that belt centre.
big three.
See a couple of dozen sitting in my little bag later in the day.
Anderson again. Short ball.
Originally I took the lazy way out and just put a bolt through this so that I could, well, a cap edge screw, and I just tightened it up to lock up the tailstock, but it's a bit of a pain in the bum really. So a while back I machined up a brass bolt to use as a pin, so I'll have to drill that thread out of there and make it so it can slide through there. So what I need to do is, cars and bikes everywhere make a noise. What I need to do is make a small bracket that'll bolt on here. This will bolt through the side, so as it's pushed up it will roll the cam over and push that pin in and lock it all in place. So let's do that. I had intended to make this out of steel, but found this little piece of aluminium offcut on the bench, so I've decided that should do the job. So I've drilled that 6mm and countersunk it. Put a 6mm thread in here. I can only put the one bolt in because there's a roll pin sitting down there below it. So and I've drilled and tapped the side 8mm and bolted this onto it. Might just put some grease on that. That's made out of a bolt, that's why it still has the remains of the thread on it. So it's the moment of truth. Oh, and by the way, I found this, and it says Korea King on there, and on the other side it says do not use with oil, made in Korea. And I found it lying in one of the wife's pot plants. So I think it's the handle off a ladle or something. And I just made the little snail cam, the cam that's on there, and welded it on, shaped it up in the little initial in the belt sander. Okay, the moment of truth. Does it work? Oh, like I bought one. You beauty. So now I better put everything back together. Throw the guard back on the back, put the power feed motor back on, and we'll do something about aligning this to the spindle. And I think I might use my collet chuck, which I haven't showed yet, but I'll use it anyway. I haven't really given you a look at this before, so I thought I'd show you while it's all here and pulled apart. This is the power feed. It's all one lever and it moves up and down like this. It pivots off this point here. This small gear here is driven by the windscreen washer motor and engages with this one when it's pulled up. Drives a whole lot. And over here I have a small detent, 2 holes there with a spring and a ball in here which locks it into place. Very simple. That's how it works. The motor bolts here. There you go.
He's driving back down the ground, there's no run. Can I ask you, Junior, about the number 6 spot with Cameron? couple of years.
Power feeding this back down the shaft over about 3 inches. I have around 5 or 6 hundredths of a millimetre, and I've been playing around with it and I can't seem to get it any better, so I think I'll get to the point where I might just live with that. It's only maybe 2 thou over 3 inches. It's not too bad. Well, I've played around with this for quite a while now and I can't seem to get it any better than this. I've been filing the holes. There's 4 bolt holes that hold 4 6mm cap heads that hold that on, and I've played with it and played with it and played with it and I can't seem to get it any better than it is. So kind of had enough for one day. I've got to clean up and get ready to go get my daughter from school. So I might have another play with this another day and see if I can't make it better. It's about 20 hundredths over the 3 inches. After sleeping on it last night, at least trying to, my poor old dog who went blind just recently decided he didn't want to sleep, and neither should I. But anyway, while I'm lying there half awake trying to go back to sleep, I decided that where I've been shimming this in here, trying to get the heights right, decided to do away with the shims, and I'm going to drill and tap 6 holes in this plate, 2 on this side, 1 in the centre, 2 on the other side, and put some grub screws in there and use them as jacking / adjusting screws. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've done all that off camera, and because I don't have a real lot of room here, I've just used cap heads in here, same on the other side, 2 of them over there, but in here I've used a cap head bolt, a little bit shorter, might have been easier so I can get in there, but it's fine. So I can lock all that in place, lock it all up, and good as gold. Like I said yesterday, just like I bought one, only much more better. We had a young guy work for us that once said to me, "That's betterer," and I looked at him and said, "Don't you mean much more betterer?" And it became a standing joke after that. I should have done this sooner. This is not too bad, I can live with this. Been playing with it for a little while. But those little jacking screws in there, they work. They do a great job. Much easier than playing around with shims. This spindle in the Tailstock's not the straightest thing around either. It varies from one end to the other. It's only about 4 hundredths, despite that's showing 5 at the moment. Then it's moving back towards 0 again as it gets closer down to the end. But I'll call that a win. Well, that's all I have for you in this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd like to hear what everyone has to say. If you got something from that, smash that like button, and keep up to date with future releases. Press that subscribe button, and to get notified, press that little ding-a-ling-a-ling button. That one. Yeah, that's it. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.